the strategies I had was I built really good relationships with his doctors. I shared with them what my concerns were about emergency rooms, about doctor's visits, and so many doctors. You know, when a person is dealing with a chronic health issue, you're going to get a lot of doctors. They may not all be part of the same hospital system.
Right.
You're going to start to see breakdown in communication between one hospital system and another. Well, that's where I step in because it's my job to make sure that the right hand always knows what the left hand is doing. And there have been times, I promise you, where I told my doctor, you're going to have to be the one that's in charge here. I know that behind the scenes, they have their own system as to who they decide is going to be in charge, but I'm only going to take direction from one person. I can't hear from everyone. So when I would hear from this person, I would ask them, did you talk to, I'm going to use doctors' names. Did you talk to Dr. Conger? No, we haven't talked to Dr. Conger yet. Well, then you need to talk to Dr. Conger. You can tell me, but no decision is going to be made until I speak to Dr. Conger and he knows what's going on. I made him responsible to get the information because he's a doctor and he understands doctors speak. And I needed one person I could trust, not 10,000 people to talk to and information get confused. So that was one thing I did. I also systems behind the scenes, computer systems where they shared information, I would check it regularly to make sure it was updated with the latest information. And if it wasn't, I would add that information based on my conversations with doctors. Again, just trying to make sure the communication stayed where it needs to be, where everyone knew what was going on. Sometimes I would just call the doctor to make sure he was caught up to speed. I know it sounds like a lot, but it was what was necessary. And when you talk about boundaries, okay, I think about my family. We all have families. We have people in our lives who may not help as much as we would like them to help, but they demand from you. We know it's going to happen. My husband was very beloved. Everyone loved him. And everyone felt they were the only person that deserved an update, when in fact, there was probably a list of maybe 50 people who wanted an update on my husband's condition. So I had to come up with a system. That system involved using software where people could sign up to get notifications. If he went into the hospital, I would use, it's called, I think it's called Care. I can't remember the name of it, but if I remember it, I'll tell you later. But a Caring Bridge. Yeah, Caring Bridge. I think that's what it was.
Bridge. Okay.
They would sign up for that. And if he ended up in the hospital, I would put a notice in Caring Bridge and they would all get an email saying, Emmanuel's in the hospital. And here's the latest update. And if they kept their eye on their emails, I would keep the Caring Bridge updated with the latest, and anybody who signed up will be notified. Well, if you didn't use Caring Bridge, guess what? You can use any email management system. But once it was clear as how I was going to communicate, it made it easier for me because I would spend hours on the phone calling one after another, saying the same story over and over again. That was exhausting. Then I would create text threads that would include people, and then we get all these responses back and your phone is going off. And that also became an annoyance. Yes. But I had a short list of those who I would communicate by text. And here's something I did that was really kind of radical. I deputized my children because they are adults. My children are adults, your children may not be, but I made sure they were all updated. And then certain people were assigned to them where if they had questions, they could call my children. My job was to take care of my husband. So all I really had to do when he went into the hospital was notify my kids and send out a message through Caring Bridge. And everybody knew what was going to happen from that point. They would either get an email update or they could call my kids if they want to know what was going on. But I needed to turn my attention back to my husband and what were the doctors trying to tell us. You know, you only have so much mental, emotional energy. You have to preserve and protect that. And you can't get upset because other people demand something from you. That's where you draw the boundary and create systems that work for you.
If you just enjoyed that video, check out the longer version right here.